everyone. This is Kelly's Kitchen again. I am Health Coach Kel, and I'm making a veggie soup today. And I call it a veggie soup because you can add anything to it once you know the basis of what we're doing. I started with a shallot, and when you cut a shallot, I lob off the attached end, and then I get a solid, cut it straight through the hairy end, and I'll demo that in maybe another video sometime. We peel off the skin, and then you start cutting it very fine. If you don't have, goodness, this guy doesn't want to peel. If you don't have kids that like onions, and you, like me, my daughter, she doesn't like onions very much. In fact, she despises them, and she will pick them out of everything, even though she likes the onion flavor. She doesn't even realize what she likes, but we hide some flavors in there for her. So what I do is I just cut little pores, I know my hand's blocking, across the open end, and then you just cut it down with the shallot, and it creates tiny little pieces. Now what you can do, if you don't have the skills, you can just get a chopper, one of those hammers, pop, pop, pop. Okay, so we're going to throw our shallot and our garlic in our hot pan. Now I'm using coconut oil, because coconut oil will add some good fats. It will also allow for everything to not stick. You can use olive oil, you can use broth, whatever you want. You're going to saute down your onions and your garlic. I use a garlic press. If you've seen my cooking before, you know I use garlic press. I don't like chunks. I like a nice, fine, even garlic flavor. So I use a press. You can just take the garlic out of the skin and chop it up and do the same. So you're going to start this, get it all nice and cooked down. Can you see? Once your onions get translucent, you can start adding in your other veggies. Alright, so what we do now is we have our coconut oil, if you want to use a little olive oil or just some water or broth, and I have my onions and my garlic in. So I'm going to throw in my carrot and my celery, and I want that to get soft. Start mixing that all in. If it starts to get dry, just add a little bit of your vegetable broth. I'm just going to start to get these nice and soft. Turn my heat up a little bit. Also throw in a bay leaf, and I'm going to use poultry seasoning. Now, poultry seasoning has a mix of rosemary, thyme, sage, black pepper, and nutmeg. It's got a little bit of everything, and the reason why I use it is because I have a ton of it. Every Thanksgiving I always buy more. So I'm going to put a bit of poultry seasoning in there. And it's just a really good blend of some good spices to put in my soup. I'm going to throw in some nice salt. Because my broth is not seasoned, I use poultry seasoning twice. Pepper. I am using unsalted broth. It's homemade. You can find the recipe on my blog. We're going to get this all mixed in and cooked down real well. So what I did was I peeled and I made nuggets, little quarter-sized sweet potatoes. And I'm going to dice that up while everything is cooking. Today what we're going to do is we're going to make a sweet potato, bean, and spinach soup. It's what I have left around the house. These soups can definitely be kitchen sink soups, whatever you have. And I'm going to show you a trick so that you can keep that onion flavor in there and your kids won't even know it's there. If you have fresh spinach, that's great. If you want to pre-saute it, you can. I'm using frozen spinach straight from the freezer. I used half a can of navy beans. You can soak them. You can buy them in the little juice box-like packets. They have them in cardboard instead of the can. So it's about a cup of beans, cup of spinach, and in this particular recipe, a cup of and one sweet potato. It's probably about a cup of sweet potato. So if you have a really big one, throw it in. It's not going to hurt anything. Since the sweet potato is relatively hard, I want to get it in with the carrots and the celery so it can cook down, season, and get nice and soft. Throw a little bit more of my broth in here. This container is 4 cups of broth, so we'll probably end up using the whole thing. Cook it down. Oh, it smells good already. All kinds of nice good vegetables. You can add, instead of the sweet potato, you can add zucchini. I've even added a regular potato and zucchini and the carrots and the celery, and it just makes a really good hearty soup. My daughter's one friend does not like anything. It's pretty healthy. She's kind of a processed food kid, and I love her to death. It's just what she's brought up on. So she comes over to my house and she loves my veggie soup. So I think the original I may name after her. Now I want to tell you, I want to show you, look, here's all my scraps. What you want to do with these, instead of putting them in the trash, is put them in that big Ziploc bag in your freezer and save them so that you can make your own veggie broth next time. You can do it in the crock pot, you can do it on the stove, you probably can even do it in the oven if you're using the oven for something else, but I haven't figured that out quite yet. So make sure you save these, put them off to the side, put my beans in later. See what we got. You know what, I think I can add my broth. I think everything's soft enough here. We'll add the entire 4 cups of broth, turn it up, and get this simmering. Once we get it simmering, we're going to add a couple more ingredients. Okay, so we had it boiled for about 5 minutes. I just threw in my spinach, and I'm putting in my beans. We're going to let this cook for another 5 minutes. Bring it back up to a boil, and let it simmer. Okay, our soup is done. Let's serve it up. Now a good tip, especially if you have young kids, is to serve this with a little bit of rice. I like to make my rice and my grains on the side, and that way, well, the spoon is big, but it'll do. That way it'll kind of hide the little onions, or if there's any little imperfections that the kids might pick out. So that's a really good tip. You can add it to the soup if you want, but I like to have a big pot of rice or quinoa or any type of grain, and then you can just add it as you want. It kind of works perfect when you have the control. Let's see if I can taste this here without burning myself. It's really good. The spinach blends really well with the sweet potato, and then you get this deep broth because it's homemade, and the homemade broth had so many different veggies in it when I made it that it just really all comes through. I think you're gonna like this one. It's hot. Follow me, sign up for my newsletters, get the recipe at healthcoachkel.com. I'm Health Coach Kelly Miller. You can find me on all social media, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Health Coach Kel is my name, my sign. And I hope you be creative. I hope you try some of our veggie spinach soup or tweak it to your needs. Leave some comments on the blog. I want to know what you do. Thanks so much. See you soon.